Apollo 20, the mission that was never meant to exist. Officially, it never happened. According to NASA, Apollo 20 was scrapped in 1970, just another casualty of budget cuts and shifting priorities after the glory days of the moon landings. That's the story we were given. But what if that story was never the truth? The case file, Apollo 20. You are watching the Unconfirmed Diegesis, where we propose for your entertainment the lingering questions: truth or fiction? But what if someone doesn't want you to ask questions? What if you are supposed to just follow the mainstream narratives that have been so carefully laid out for you as the only truth? After all, you would never be lied to by those who in charge, right? That is exactly why this channel was created. To question everything and let you decide hoax or real. From the dark side of the moon. The dark side of the moon, where no human eye has ever looked directly without the aid of machines, comes one of the most unsettling threads in lunar mystery. Buried deep within the photographic archives of Apollo 15, among thousands of high-resolution images catalogued and largely forgotten, some researchers claim there is something that doesn't belong. Not a trick of light. Not a shadow cast by a crater rim, something else. In the immense ancient scar known as the Aitken Basin, one of the largest and oldest impact sites in the entire solar system, there appears to be a formation that defies easy explanation. At first glance, it blends into the terrain. The moon's surface is deceptive like that, full of harsh contrasts and illusions. But when certain frames are isolated, enhanced, and studied over time, a pattern begins to emerge. A shape, elongated, structured, unnatural. Unlike the chaotic violence that formed the basin billions of years ago, this object appears placed. Its lines are too smooth, its proportions too consistent. It stretches across the surface like a scar that doesn't match the wound around it. Witnesses who have examined these images describe it as cigar-shaped, a term repeated again and again by independent analysts who have never spoken to each other. Miles long, resting silently against the lunar dust as if it has been there for ages or waiting to be found. And that's where the questions begin. Why would such a structure exist in one of the most remote, least observed regions of the moon? Why does it appear in multiple frames, from different angles, yet never receive official acknowledgement? And perhaps most unsettling of all, why is it so easy to overlook unless you know exactly where to look? Some believe the answer lies not in what is visible, but in what was ignored. Because the moment that shape is recognized for what it could be, not a trick of geology, but something constructed, everything changes. The moon is no longer just a dead world of rock and dust. It becomes a place that was visited, or worse. The mission: locate and make entry. Whispers began to circulate, not in the media, not in public, but behind closed doors, between governments that were supposed to be enemies. At the height of the Cold War, when tension between the United States and the Soviet Union defined the world, a secret agreement was allegedly forged. A joint mission, a mission that would never be acknowledged. Apollo 20. Launched in 1976 under a veil of silence, using technology derived from both superpowers, its true objective was clear. Reach the far side of the moon, find the object, enter it. Inside the ship, what they found. Footage, leaked decades later, allegedly reveals the moment an astronaut crosses the threshold. The entry point doesn't resemble a door in any human sense. There are no hinges, no seams, no visible mechanism. Instead, the surface of the craft appears to part or thin, almost like a membrane responding to presence rather than force. The exterior itself is unlike any known material, dull metallic in some angles, almost stone-like in others, with faint geometric patterns etched across it, as if the entire hull were grown rather than built. The ship stretches for miles, cigar-shaped, yes, but not smooth like a missile or aircraft. Its surface is segmented, layered, almost organic in design. Long ridges run its length like the spine of some colossal creature. Portions appear damaged or eroded, as if it has endured ages of micrometeorite impacts or something far older, something that happened long before humanity ever looked to the moon. Inside, everything changes. The astronaut steps into darkness. Not total darkness, but a dim, ambient glow with no clear source. The walls curve unnaturally, with no sharp angles, no corners. The corridors feel grown, not engineered, like the interior of a living structure frozen in time. Surfaces are smooth but not reflective, absorbing light rather than casting it. And the silence, it isn't just quiet. It's heavy, oppressive, as if sound itself struggles to exist inside the structure. There are no signs of life, no movement, no functioning systems, only stillness, ancient stillness. As the astronaut moves deeper, the architecture becomes more complex. Vast chambers open up, filled with towering shapes and structures whose purpose isn't immediately clear. Some resemble control stations, others like containment areas, but none match any known human design. Then, they find her, positioned within a chamber that resembles a medical or preservation unit, lies a humanoid form. She is not skeletal, not decayed. She is intact, preserved. Her body appears carefully placed, almost ceremonially. Tubes or filament-like structures connect to her, though whether they once sustained life or simply maintained preservation is unknown. She was given a name, Mona Lisa, because of her face. Her skin is pale, almost translucent, but unnaturally smooth, untouched by time. There are no signs of decomposition, no damage that would suggest death as we understand it. Her features are what unsettle observers the most. They are familiar. Not identical to a human, but close enough to trigger something deep and instinctive. The structure of her face, the shape of her lips, the subtle symmetry, it all suggests a connection. Her eyes are closed, but elongated slightly beyond human proportions. Fine, almost imperceptible lines run along her temples and neck, as if her biology followed a different blueprint. And her expression, calm, not lifeless, not frozen in pain, but at peace, as if she were placed there with intention, as if she were meant to be found. And that's the question that lingers long after the footage ends. Was this being a passenger, a pilot, a survivor, or something far more significant? Because if she is what she appears to be, something not entirely alien, not entirely human, then the implications are staggering. It would mean the distance between us and them is far smaller than we've ever been told, and the moon was never just a destination. It was a discovery waiting to happen. What they found defied everything humanity thought it knew. The object wasn't debris, it wasn't a crashed probe. It was a ship, ancient, massive, abandoned, a relic of something that had once crossed the stars. its surface scarred by time, yet still intact, still waiting. The leaked footage leaked decades later, showed an astronaut entering the structure, dark corridors, strange architecture, a silence that felt heavy. And then they found her, a preserved humanoid entity, not fully alien, not fully human. She was given a name, Mona Lisa. Her skin pale and preserved, her features eerily familiar, as if whatever created her knew us, or perhaps we came from them. The film footage that shouldn't exist. In the mid-2000s, videos began appearing online, grainy, unsettling, and strangely convincing. Launch footage, flybys of the object, interior shots of the craft, and the discovery of the entity. They were dismissed almost immediately, debunked, labeled a hoax, the name tied to it all, Thierry Speth, a creator who claimed responsibility, a storyteller who said it was nothing more than fiction, an April Fool's joke, case closed, nothing to see here. Here's the questions no one asks. What if he didn't create it? What if he was chosen to take the fall? What if the confession wasn't freedom, but pressure? What if the easiest way to bury the truth is to convince the world it was never real? Pieces that don't fit. Why does the story align so closely with real cancelled missions? Why use actual mission names, real lunar locations, and believable technology? Why does the footage, even today, unsettle those who see it? And perhaps most importantly, why does the idea refuse to die? Final thoughts. Maybe Apollo 20 was exactly what they said it was. A hoax, a story, a well-crafted illusion, but what if it wasn't? What if, on the far side of the moon, hidden from Earth, shielded from every telescope, something ancient still rests, something discovered, then buried, not just in lunar dust, but in silence? One only has to ask a few simple questions. Why is every spacefaring country trying so hard to get back to the moon? And why, in particular, are they so interested in what's on the dark side of the moon? And now it is time for you to decide real or hoax. Thank you for watching the Unconfirmed Diegesis. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next time we explore the unconfirmed.